Greetings, everyone. Rev.Hawksblood here, calling from the big island of Hawaii. Sad news, my co-host can't make it today. She's been having multiple problems. I don't know if you follow my show or not. She's been radioactive, for real. We've been doing a show for 3 years already. But her problems are always getting worse. Her story's incredible. Called The Bonded, Tina Bird. An incredible book. It's her first book. She's going to do part 2 of it because she's learning a lot more. Hopefully we're going to try to get a hypnotist to work with her to find out some of the things that she doesn't know that they might be able to help her get out. We're going to do that live one way or another when it happens. But in the interim, got a lot to get in today. And again, my show is truth only. Something's going on with Twitter. I don't know if it's Mr. Musk himself doing something, but it's not going in for a reason. And I'm not going to play with it now, but I'll stick it up again later. But people, I've been in this since I was 6 years old. All right. I'm 72 now. So this has been a lifelong project. Sorry. But it's not one that I wanted, not one that I really felt that was important in midlife. But when I was young, it really interfered with my life. And then as I got older, it started getting back into interfering in my life. I started a spiritual quest at 16 as well. So the two contradict each other in one way, and then another way they don't. But seriously, I was in touch with just about everything you could imagine. I was a foot away from a Bigfoot. I was next to an alien about maybe 12 feet. A ship landed in my yard about maybe 50 feet. So it all started when I was little. But I have probably seen more ships than 99.9% of the people on the planet. Don't ask me why. All right. About 25 years ago, I got really active with somebody that I dealt with. And we filmed more UFOs, real UFOs in the United States than any other person living here. Maybe the world as well. But at that time, we were lecturing with global sciences, and we went all around the United States, a couple different places a year, lecturing and showing pictures and taking people out at night to film orbs and things like that. 1997, New York City, we were doing a conference. The person I was with was speaking, and I was taking pictures in the background. We filmed all kinds of orbs in the conference. And he actually copyrighted the name Orbs. Not that he did anything with it. I don't know where he is. We had a major fallout 2 years ago. All right. But during the time frame we were together until 2002. And then later on, we had a big battle. We got together again, and then we did Kerry Cassidy's show for 9 months. At that time, we were showing 5 new pictures of UFOs every week for 9 months. Pictures that we shot. Real pictures of ships, not Tic Tacs. All right. And we were lecturing around the United States. We would take people at nighttime to film orbs. which is not complicated. But orbs are multiple things. They're not just a freak of nature. They could be a ship. And there's no size to a UFO. I don't know what you know about UFOs for real. It's not like they have to be a certain size. I don't know if the right picture went up on my screen when your show started. But those little ships were in front of us, in front of me directly, in the middle of the woods. And then there was these orbs chasing it, which I got pictures of as well. And then there was something invisible running down a river. And all I could hear is my friend going, take pictures, but we never filmed whatever was running down the river because it was invisible, but the orbs were chasing that little ship that I have a picture of. It had to be about this big. All right. And this was in 97. It wasn't a drone. It wasn't wasn't anything that the government made. But at that time, we were doing all our UFO work with Tesla, actually worked with DuPont. And he did. He worked up in New Jersey in an underground base. It is the most important UFO story never told. The reason why it had to do with Tesla working with aliens. Never mind, the government flooded a city in Wanacue, New Jersey. And for 9 months, UFOs were going in and out of the reservoir, frozen or not. They built a bridge from Jersey to New York. But then at the same time, Pine Bush, New York was considered like a real super hot spot for UFOs. The main road there would be lined up with hundreds of people every night, sitting out in chairs and stuff. Many of them had personal experiences with aliens or seen them. Sadly, most of them were drinking. I'm not saying that increased what they pretended or what they saw. But the government closed it down. Well, the state did really. Because it became a super hangout for people watching UFOs. And the ships were always over it. Now, I can go into a lot of different things about that. Jersey, Picatinny Arsenal, is the first Army base in the United States, people. All right. At that time, it was a lot different than what it became, because right before I left New Jersey, I was there for most of my life. When I left Jersey, it became a medical laboratory for creating something. And basically they were called, I call them robots, clones, but the word that they gave them was super soldiers. So I'm not going to go into detail on that either. But whatever they did with these beings, they were almost 8 feet tall. Like, they created 4 that I know of. I don't know if they created 6, supposedly, and whatever. But they had these big black trucks come to pick them up because they couldn't fit in a regular car. So what's going on with that? Who knows? I'm not in Jersey no more, but when I was leaving, they were giving them millions of dollars. And the next week they said, we're closing Picatinny Arsenal down, which they did not. So in the interim, I want to get into what's happening now, what's going down, what's going out there in the UFO world and everything else. If you're on and you got a comment and you're in the chat room, please free to ask a question. All right. So when I started with my friend in the UFO world, filming and getting involved with speaking and all that, we were working up in Wanacue, New Jersey, and that's where Tesla was working with DuPont. My friend saw his first UFO crash there. I don't know if you know anything about the Philadelphia experiment, and they were talking about the Hershey monkey and all that, and it was found. I saw it there. But it became government property and they put signs all around that property there saying, if you get caught here, you will be shot. But we did go in there every night, almost every other night, really. And we filmed more stuff there than anybody else, again, in the United States. We filmed creatures, entities, ships, you name it. Was it important at that time? It was. I mean, we'd go out at 10 o'clock at night and stay there till 3 filming. We must have shot about 2,000 pictures every night that we went out. And at that time, we started with film, which I was paying for to develop all these pictures all the time. And a lot of times the company developing the pictures said, oh, you only got 4 pictures that came out. I said, no, develop all the pictures I take, period. Because when he saw ships and different things, he just said, no, there's something wrong with this picture. I said, no, they're all what we shot. So in the interim, we started downloading them every night. My person I was with would spend hours downloading them. But we came up with another trick, which he created. Filming the sky during the day with the camera, with a super high-speed camera. You leave it on for an hour, but you have to watch it in slow motion. UFOs do not fly. Usually during the day, they don't fly slow. So, and they do travel at the speed of light or faster. So, when you talk about a camera that shoots 300 frames a second, you have to watch that in slow motion, because within 3 frames or 4 frames, you'll see the ship come by. Well, we did that for almost, I'm not going to say, because he debates me on how many years we actually did it, but I met him in 96, and we kind of ended our first friendship at 2002. Then we made friends again, and then we did a TV, an internet show with Kerry Cassidy's show for 9 months, when we were showing all the pictures we shot. But we lectured all around the United States through Global Sciences, multiple states, and things like that. But in the interim, we taught people how to take pictures of orbs and everything else. I mean, if you go through my pictures, you'll see one of the pictures of me dancing with thousands of them around me. But again, not one orb is a specific thing. They could be multiple things. We got one with the head of an alien space in it, but they can be different sizes. I shot one half the size of the picture from close up, but a lot of them could be small. But in that dimension, or whatever you want to call it, size doesn't really matter, because an orb could turn into a ship. It could turn into anything. And I don't know if you're following the news. In New Jersey right now, the orbs are pretty much becoming public, and the government's having drones trying to chase them and everything else. But obviously, they're not going to say anything important. They're not going to release what's really going down. I'm not going to go into the whole story about Nikola Tesla. He wasn't evil, but he wasn't good. Did he care what he put out there? No, he didn't, because he put it out there. He gave 50 of the most deadliest weapons to the United States, including an earthquake machine. All right, and that happened in 1900 when he was testing it out in New York City. So it really worked, and all the inventions that he gave to the United States worked, including the HARP system. All right. I don't know if you know much about the Philadelphia experiment. It was a real thing that happened, and that's even kind of not spoken at all about. Basically, the 2 important people that were involved with that are dead. I was friends with the only one that went back in time. So, you can believe what you want, what I'm telling you. I'm telling you what I believe totally. I don't brag about or talk about too many people's stories outside of my own. TJ is one of the few people I truly trust and believe. Now, Al Bielek was the only person that actually went back in time with the time machine during the Philadelphia experiment. And I was kind of friends with him for a couple years. We met him. and he told us they offered him $4 million to go back in time to rearrange what he did when he went back the first time. But when they went back, lots of people never came back on that ship when it disappeared. I don't know, I'm getting calls, but I don't see him anywhere. But what I'm going to say is, he told me when they can kill him. They said they can't kill him before that date. He died the month that he told me. All right. Now, when I was lecturing, I got to meet a lot of FEMA people that left FEMA at UFO conventions. Don't forget, the government watches everything going on in the UFO world in detail. And I'm going to say this, I'm going to tell you straight out to everybody out there. From 1996 to about the end of last year, I lost 16 friends taken out. All right. And basically, completely dead or disappeared. I had a good friend. I went to a UFO conference and I met with him there, and he says, "Oh, I work for NASA." I said, "Well, you want to see UFOs?" And he goes, "Sure." And he came over our house and we talked, and I showed him pictures. His whole family disappeared within 3 days, completely. All right, but most of them ended up disappeared, for one. Two, they said suicide, which is another lie. One of them that I know is still in a nut house on Long Island. John Ford, check it out. I don't know what's going on. They've been keeping him in every year. He was supposed to go to trial. They wouldn't even let him go to trial because then he could show the video. He shot a video, which I saw, crashed on Long Island. All right, I went out there where it happened. I saw the marks. They tried burning it. They let it burn for 2 weeks, trying to burn the trees down and everything. It didn't work because they were all black, burnt up trees, but they were all there. But they were all notched out with this like little runway path in between them for about half a mile where the ship came down and landed. But when they arrested him, they said he had uranium, had a piece this big. He used it to check his Geiger counter. All right. When they arrested him, they said he had uranium, a barrel of uranium, and he was going to put it in government, Congress, people toothpaste. Now, and that was all over New Jersey and New York news. Imagine them telling you, well, this guy's going to lace their toothpaste with radioactive materials and kill them. Well, how in the world could he even possibly do that? People don't know much about radiation. You don't go near it. You can't touch it. And there's no possible way you can... Hold on. Let me just see one thing. Oh, wow. Let me just do this. I don't know. I don't understand this, but let me just put this out there. My co-host is texting me that there's all kinds of serious problems on my signal, which I'm sure there is because we've been having a lot of problems when we've been doing our shows lately. Let me just send this to her real fast. All right. So getting back to the problem, there's multiple problems. All right. What's happening? I don't know if you know about Musk, what he wants, what he said, what he wanted to do. I got involved with following him when he said he wanted to go to Mars. Well, there's multiple stories about that I don't promote or believe in. But Laura Eisenhower, the granddaughter of Eisenhower, said she went to Mars with the president. All right, you can believe that story or not. Listen to her if you want. But we did a show together. We had 120,000 people following us. And she wouldn't debate anything I said. She goes, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. She didn't know nothing about her grandfather. Her mother was part of Majestic. I mean, all these things relate to what she was involved with, but her mother never talked to her about her grandfather. So, again, now, but between Musk and Mr. Rumpo, they probably have zero clue to who is in MJ12, what they actually do, who funds them, where the money comes from, and what do they really do. Well, when you hear the president talking about our deficit and the money we owe, how many billion, what, $5 billion, $6 billion, do you understand the Army, Navy, Marines, space program spends more money than all the deficits on the planet? Seriously, in a year. So when they say we don't have money for poor people and middle class people. Rich people are multiple millionaires. And why do they not want to tax them? If you want to get more money, you tax the rich. You don't tax the poor. So, our system's being screwed. The people, middle class and poor people, are being screwed. The sick people are being screwed. Aliens are above us constantly, daily right now. Something has to break with that. This morning I saw about 20 ships in about 20 minutes. All right. Not drones. Drones do not travel at the speed of light or can travel across the whole sky and things like that. They don't do weird things. But I have the whole neighborhood in Hawaii that I know, people that I know, looking. 1 out of 10 will tell me something every week of what they saw, what they see. We do have 2 alien races off our coast. And the poor and homeless people that live on the ocean see the green orbs going in and out of the ocean. I just had a family last month say they watched it for about 45 minutes over the ocean. I said, you didn't get no pictures? Oh, no, we didn't film it. I said, well, look, you want me to lend your camera? If you see it again, film it. Obviously, he said no, but most of the people that live on doesn't impress them. They're poor, they're living on it by the side of the ocean, but they're not caring about UFOs going in and out of the water. It's not helping them in any way. It's not going to make them rich. It's not going to feed them. But they do see it. I can't go into some stories because they are super private. Oh, well, when a speaker says, oh, I can't talk about this, it's not because of the government. It's because of people's lives. All right, like I said, I lost 16 of my friends in this time frame that I've been involved publicly in the UFO world. But people out there are destroying it, the truth. And that's why I've been doing this show. Tina has been abducted most of her life. And what they do to her is incredible. The government blocked the videos of her getting operated on and taking things out of her stomach and all this. It's real. Her proof is more than any other person being abducted. But the UFO world has become a laughing stock to me. They don't talk about anything important. And all they keep saying, well, this is a real ship, but maybe it's China or Russia or Germany flying them. Really? Well, then obviously they don't travel super fast. The human body can't go to speeds that the UFOs do go through. In general, I could go into a story about that, but I'm not. But the body cannot stand the G-force. I mean, Lou Elizondo talks about that. He just put a video up recently about all that because he put a book out, and I don't know if Trump actually brought him into the government, which I think he did again, or how that goes down. But he did promise to come on my show once. I don't know if I can get him on or not. I always wanted to talk to him, but the only thing he ever released was a Tic Tac, that little dot. Okay, I don't know if you followed the Skinwalker Ranch. They showed more on there than any other show out there for real, because it was live while they were doing their tricks and stuff. Not sure they're going to be able to come back on again. Not sure that they're going to show that there's a UFO underneath where they are, which there is. There's lots of things happening at multiple levels, and nothing is actually being said about the important things. To me, what's important, which nobody talks about, and I'll tell you straight out today, why are they here? I hear people go on about, well, ancient history, they were here. Yeah, of course they were. There's 9 races through our history of planet Earth, not all history, but planet Earth, that have determined what race stays here and for how long. All right. They killed out all the races that were here, the giants, Sumerians, and when they destroyed Atlantis, which was the first race here, people, there were 9 beings, 9 different races within Atlantis, and they were different colored. Now, before it went down, I mean, I'm aware of all my past lives back to Atlantis. Before it went down, 5 different races left. The ones that stayed was black, yellow, red, and white. All right, stayed. Were forced to stay. They didn't attain awareness or anything, and they couldn't leave. And then when the alien races that were here reprogrammed them, which we didn't do in Atlantis. All right, I'm going to tell you straight out. Killing was never accepted or even thought of. Rape, sacrifice were not considered because we were very psychic, meaning 32 psychic abilities. You couldn't cheat, couldn't lie, couldn't hide what you thought. So it was an open book for the people that lived here. And everybody cared about each other. Aliens didn't like that idea at all. Because all the other races, they programmed to kill, slaughter, eat animals, sacrifice, and everything else under the sun. And no, aliens did not come here to mine gold. Realize their races are about, I can't give you a number because I have no clue, but thousands and thousands and more infinity times going backwards than we are. So their technology has been developed a long time ago, which was given to Tesla. All right. Now, even Billy Myers, when he came out with his UFOs and stuff like that, that was in the 50s. So as of 2000, they don't drive those kind of ships anymore even. They're completely outdated. Mentions 250 of the most deadliest weapons, which he gave to the United States, are dangerous, more than anything you could have possibly imagined. But we have some weird things going on with Mr. Musk. So he comes out, creates a spaceship, jet, rocket, whatever you want to call it, that can travel faster than any other plane or jet that we have on planet Earth right now that he knows about. All right? Or that the general public know about. I can go into a story. I almost bought a house right over NORAD, but that's not it right now. So his ship came out, and there's 2 weapons on it. Now, where's that plane? Let's call it a rocket. Where's it going to go? Who's going to get it? Is he giving it to the United States? Is he going to sell it to Russia, China? It is the most deadliest weapon, considering if we based on our war factors of our technology that we think we have. It would be the most dangerous thing out there. It was basically explained, if we sent a jet up to Iraq, and they sent his up, his would be there coming back before we get there. All right, and now it has 2 weapons on it. So it's a deadly weapon, most deadliest weapon. As far as aliens, they have no clue. But as far as the government, that's what they believe. All right, now, on top of that, the United States has built a spaceship. Not the ones that you would see on the videos and all those kind of things. It wasn't released yet. It should be released before the end of the year. And usually they don't release anything created within a year it's been released. Well, they're saying it was finished last year. But basically, it cost $44 billion. Musk's ship was what, 21 billion? I mean, he raised it. It was like 14, and he goes, oh, it was 22 billion. But it's not even close to what the United States is going to release. The ship. We'll have all of Tesla's weapons, most of them, on it. Realize the weapons that they're using around the world. I don't know if you know what a directed energy beam is, and all these other kind of weapons that are real and are being used will be on that ship. Meaning it can take out any country within a short period of time. All right, it will make the United States number one again, which it should be and always was, really. China's into people population for armies, not weapons. Every other country. We're more into missiles and things like that, not super high-tech weapons. My brother was a chemist in the Army, and I found out all the weapons they had during Vietnam. But in the United States, we made it illegal to use them in warfare. Well, some of these countries were using laser guns and blasting people in cars, splitting the car in half and the person too. Technology is way beyond what you want to hear at every level. What we're using is incredible. The technology that we have is mind-boggling. But it's not for poor people, not for poor middle-class people, low-income people, sick people, things like that. And the rich don't even know what they're really doing. Because if you understand anything about war, it has nothing to do with morals, compassion, feelings, emotions. When they send 17 years old children to war, I almost went to Vietnam. I enlisted, and then I met my first wife, and I sent my x-rays in, and they didn't want me. But my brother became a chemist. But the weapons they had were incredible. But what was going on with us, we were going to Vietnam and fighting. I don't know if you heard the whole story about Jane Fonda's, and they blamed her for 2 people getting killed and everything else. But the children that the Vietnam was sending into war were 14 years old. I had a girlfriend that was in Vietnam as a nurse for 2 years. All she did was wash bodies every day to send them back to the mainland. All right. But their side, children, shooting at children. If your president says kill those kids, will you do it? If he says, well, let's kill all these people that are in this country that shouldn't be here, are you going to let them? What are you willing to do? How? And the last question about that, do you believe in God? All right. You know, people say they believe in God. People say they believe in religion. But do they really? A religion should override anything you do if you're in a religion. I am. All right. My spiritual path. I don't call it a religion, but I'm directly responsible back to God. Nobody else. So if President Trump comes out and says this or that, well, let's kill all Catholics, all Jewish people, again, whatever. They killed as many Native people as they could. Now, Biden put a video out, and everybody should watch it. It's still up, about what the white men did to the Native people. They stole most of the Constitution from the Native people, and then added their parts that made it for rich people. You need to understand the truth. If you want to live in lies, you're going to watch the United States crumble and become a third world country. And it could happen within 5 years. There's something else going on top of all this. It's called UN Agenda-30. Now, I'm not making this up. 193 countries agree we need one world order. All right? But nobody understands what that really means. COVID was part of it. I'm not going to go into the stories. I know all the facts behind it. But It wasn't no accident. It wasn't a freak of nature. Whatever. Diseases are created by man, 90% of them. And here's something that I try to explain to people when I lecture or teach, whatever. Disease created to kill people that was created by God, all right, was for a reason. All right. Karma is something everybody pays, whether they think they're good, bad, or indifferent. Now, if your karma says you can't stay here any longer, you're not going to stay here any longer. No matter what pills you take, no matter what you do. Well, if I go out, I'm going to get hit by a car, so I'll stay in the house. And a plane crashes on your house, or an earthquake happens, or a tsunami happens, or whatever. Karma is payable, and you have to pay it back. And it comes in multiple ways. But most people will never pay their karma in their lifetime, and in their next life will create more. So I'm trying to give you the whole aspect of what's going on. Aliens have always been here. They do not have a God. They consider themselves that. They think they can do what they want. They don't have feelings and emotions. None of them do. I mean, when these people say, well, this is a horrible word, experiencer, meaning an alien came, took them, taught them, took them on a ride, all that baloney. It's all bull. Aliens are not good, have never been good, and there's 9 races that control and work with this planet. Now, I'll tell you, from both sides, Putin and one of the top speakers in the UFO world, Bob Dean, who had the highest clearance in the army and everything, was working with aliens. They said they were working, both of them said they were working with 27 alien races. 2 of them want to destroy the planet. Keep that in your brain. 2 alien races want to destroy the planet. And why aren't they? Think about it. If that's true, and it came from Putin when Putin told Trump that, and when Bob Dean was lecturing in the UFO world, where does that go? All right. Now, if they want to kill the planet, and they want to, why didn't they? Why aren't they? Because we are having wars with aliens, people. In space and in the ground. Both. The story about Phil Snyder is a real story, people. Read it. Don't listen to the lies. Read between the lines. He didn't commit suicide. What happened to his body is impossible to do to yourself in any way. All right? But he only lectured for a short time before he committed suicide, wrapped up in barbed wire. Really? Oh man, I'm going to commit suicide. I'll wrap myself up in barbed wire and die. How's that happen? No blood was found, nothing. And, they said they did things. He did all this stuff to himself. No, he didn't. Like I said, 16 of my friends have disappeared and died. None of them committed suicide. They didn't say that. They just never found. Or my best friend, his whole family disappeared. I called the schools. They said the kids didn't report to school. I called his phone. I worked for the phone company. And his recording would come up. Oh, this is you-know-who. Please leave a message. And all I would say, what are you doing to this family? He worked for NASA. I'm not going to say his name. I don't know what they did to his whole family. No idea. But during that time, we were lecturing. Person. I'm going to say his name. Not that I want to, but just so that you can actually find and track and things. But 99% of everything was taken down when my so-called partner sold out to the government. And his whole story is different. He claims to be a spiritual being. He's Jesus' disciple, and he's here for a mission. All right? Which is bull. I challenged him a couple times. I actually did an exorcism on him, and he doesn't admit anything. And that's his choice. But he can live and die in his own karma. I live die in my own truth, which is God only. All right? Not lies, stories, not trying to... You can't heal people. You can't change reality. Jesus came and went. Jesus was killed by his own people. So whatever this person thinks he can do with his special mission and all those kind of things, good luck. This is hell. And Lucifer is not in charge of hell, people. Satan is. Two different entities. Both of them are real. Lucifer's a real angel. Was with Gabriel, Michael, and all them. And they all fell from grace. For a word. They fell from the higher planes down to the lower planes. All right, but they don't live here either. All right, but 90% of the people on the planet say they work with Gabriel or Michael. How's that? When it's even in the Bible and Revelations, which is written by John, said there's hundreds of angels, but now there's thousands of angels, and everybody deals with Michael. And an angel can only teach what they know. He wouldn't be an angel if he knew everything. Angels don't go past the fifth plane, which is the soul plane, and they don't stay there either. All right. Deities is a higher form of an angel, and deities are real too. Most deities are in between the astral plane. All right. But there's a few deities, one of them which is on the highest level, which is the soul plane. No aliens go up there or can get there. Aliens have to reincarnate into a human body. You don't have to believe any of this. But what they do is so they can grow in compassion, emotions, feelings, and learn about life of a human, of an emotional being, for a word. Now, the body is controlled by the brain, and the brain has 5 senses. Soul doesn't have that. So when you leave the physical body, you're beyond that as well. But aliens don't have that ability. They live 20 times longer than we do. But also, they reincarnate. And the ones that attain any kind of growth will reincarnate into a human. Now, I don't know if you're familiar when the word walk-in started, or I'm an alien, and I was alien, and I was born an alien, and blah, 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 all those kind of things. Well, they're coming into reality. I mean, if you watch videos of children between, I'd say about 30 years ago, they came up with the word star children, indigo children, all right? The word I brought out, which they don't even talk about, blue star children, not indigo children, all right? They don't have to be blue for the word. But at that time, I was working with that. But a lot of those children were being taken by you know who, all right? Not aliens. And they were all disappearing. I mean, when they said, oh, it had to be a blue-eyed, blonde-haired child, which was another lie. Blue star children didn't have to be any color. Any eye color, any hair color. Indigo children were usually blonde-haired, blue-eyed children. So, yeah, there was a lot of weird stuff that grew and grew. And then, what came out? The Galactic Confederation and Ashtar Command. I can go into all the details, but I know you don't care, you don't want to know, or you don't want to believe it. Ashtar Command is a program. It programs the mind. All right? But basically, everything in that movement of the Ashtar Command or the Galactic Federation, when they say, well, the ships are going to come down and take us the 25th or a date, whatever, they all meet on the mountain, and they go, oh, it happened in a different dimension. And obviously, they're not coming down to take you, are they? You know, all the lies they have been putting out for such a long time, it's grown. It's grown incredibly. You know, religions grow. You know, you get 3 people to say, oh, yeah, it works, it heals, it does, whatever. You get more people. And the more people you get, the more people you get following those people. So religions have been changed greatly. The Pope was trying to change religion, his own religion, Catholic religion, but he died recently, didn't he? Now, the new Pope seems like he's a really compassionate person. He might care about children, sexual abuse, and all those other kind of words and stuff, which they already sent him tons of letters and want him to do this and want him to do that. The Catholic religion was always backwards. Confession is another fake word man created. You can't confess a sin. People believe it because they're Christians. Why confess? You kill somebody, you can say what you want, but you destroyed families and many, maybe multiple families that will not be able to come here. All right? And that's karma. Cause and effect means what you do, you pay back. All right? And it takes a while, sometimes lifetime after lifetime. And during the next lifetime, you don't know what you're doing, you still don't know anything, and you're still creating karma. So it's a bad cycle. Aliens are in the same cycle. They've been playing with human races or races on planet Earth for hundreds of thousands of years. When the first race was here, I mean, cavemen were never humans. We never came from cavemen, just so you know that, people. The missing link was given to us while we were children for a long time. Well, that's what they were looking for. Let me let my little guy in. Hold on. Okay, Desert, you can come in. All right. Now, I wrote 5 books. My book's about spiritualism, not aliens. I wrote a manual. If anybody wants to learn how to see a UFO, I'll give it to you for free. But ask yourself, why do you want to see a UFO? Well, I want to believe in a UFO. People don't even know what's driving the ship, and they want to know that it's real. It's real, people. You can go out any given day in early in the morning, spend a couple hours. I guarantee you'll see a ship. Well, 90% of the time, almost every day, I see anywhere from 10 to 20 ships. And I got 10 people in the neighborhood all watching the sky, seeing all kinds of ships going in the ocean, you name it. So it's not me making up stories, making people tell fake stories and things like that. But getting back to, let's stick with a couple of things that I feel are important before my time runs out, whatever that time is. There's one of the most evil people in the UFO world. He's been around a long time, but I know in '96, when I got into lecturing with global sciences, with the person I was with, he was in the background. I had a friend, I was dealing with a woman named Almeen Barton, and she had a bodyguard. I was friends with the bodyguard, and he was tracking, to see what stuff was real about this guy. Well, he supposedly was a doctor, worked in a hospital as a temporary doctor, got involved with UFOs and became this masked guy on the UFO world. Stephen Greer, claims a lot of things, says a lot of lies, twisting the truth every which way. All right. Now, when you listen to the stories on TV, people like all the people from Ancient Aliens and all those kind of shows, most of them the same 10 people. All right. And they say, well, this person, this book says, and this happened. And when they get into the experience, well, this guy was driving down the road in this light. They believe the story and make it a reality in their mind. Now, I'll tell you this. 90% or more of the so-called abductees are not aware of what really happened. Now, on top of that, 99% of the people that claim to be an experiencer have zero proof, not one of them. And then they come up with, well, I went to multiple universes and we saw cities and we saw. It's all lies. Programmed ideas in a person's brain. Now, a couple main speakers, I'll give you a couple hints. One was a musician, artist, and got involved in the UFO world. Claimed he worked with aliens and they gave him shown the past, present, and future. He lied about everything. The people that come out and say, well, the end of the world is going to happen in 2 years. Another super famous person that went into James Gillen's SETI Ranch said the world was going to end in 2 years. That was like 10 years ago. All these people, I'm working with aliens. Well, you don't hear about the people that work with the Mayan people that the Mayans work with because they got the Mayan calendar. It wasn't given to them from a person. And it didn't come true. It's all stories. Now, the government keeps feeding you more lies about space. Big Bang and black hole. They have no proof of anything about it. I mean, CERN, CERN, was trying to create a black hole. They said they did. A little one. Actually, little black hole. But their goal was to go through it. I can go into incredible stories, but you're not ready for it and you don't want to hear it because you're still dealing with who is flying a UFO. Why are they flying here? And you can't get those answers. Well, right now we have 9 alien races over us all the time. We had grays living inside the earth. Mexico had a gray city living there a long time ago. The artifacts are being found every day where this was. Thousands of artifacts. So some person didn't just carve a bunch of things and stick them in the ground and things like that. But some of the artifacts show the history, their history. Now, I'm throwing so many things at you because this is a different kind of show because Tina's not here. She doesn't get involved with religion at all at any level. Well, I'm aware of my lifetimes, including one with Jesus. Jesus talked about aliens. That wouldn't be in the Bible because they didn't know what aliens were at that time frame. When you hear a chariot, a flaming chariot flying through the sky, well, it could have been a meteorite, a comet, could have been a spaceship. The UFO world wants to say, oh, they were all spaceships. When you see these carvings in the Egyptians, the Mayans, and all these different carvings, oh, this is a spaceship. Well, what if it is? Has nothing to do with God, has nothing to do with the truth. Because it's not telling you why they're there. And aliens never came here for a good reason. Before I close the show, I'll tell you why. But there are reasons. Basically 4 or 5 reasons why they do come here. All right? Why aliens always came here. Why we are not moving forward. We're moving backwards every single day. Technology doesn't make us any better than what we were, or help us find the truth. All right, technology is giving us the ability to do things that we don't have to do ourselves. Things that we should know that we don't have to know ourselves anymore. I mean, you take an electronic laser to measure something. You can do all these things with other things that you don't have to do with ruler and tape measure or even a slide ruler, which we had when we were little. But computers have been grown into called AI. AI is going to be the most serious weapon within 5 years, probably within 3. Musk goes on. He lied within 2 months. He lied. First month he came out and said, "Oh, AI is going to help us greatly. We're going to have robots that'll be able to do all the useless jobs that we do." What's a useless job, people? Think about it. And Musk said it straight out. Jobs that low-income people do. That people that have money don't want to do. Farming is going to be they're farming soon enough, but right now, robots are being put in hospitals, doing operations. My friend next door just had an operation by a robot yesterday. All right. So what's happening? I mean, if you watch all these movies about AI, we're getting back to Musk. He says, well, it's going to take out, get rid of all the useless jobs. There's no such thing as a useless job. If it helps somebody make money and live, it's not a useless job. Well, the following month he came out and says, well, we're going to really have to start watching AI because it will try to start taking over. I don't know, was it 2001? I don't know if you saw the movie or not, about a robot ship taking over with AI. But it's real, and it's really happening. They've also, all the people in the top of the science of the AI already said it's trying to think for itself. I had a problem yesterday. I went and I saw the thing. I'm not going to say the name. I can't even think of it. But it said, I pressed it and it says, well, what do you want to know? Hi, Tommy. I said, well, I answered a question. Gave me an answer. I said, thank you. Goodbye. Put my phone down. Hello, Tommy. You sure you don't want to ask me anything else? I said, no. Goodbye. I want to just hang up. I don't want to talk to you again. Hung up. Okay, goodbye. Hello, Tommy. It's me. Do you want to ask me something? And it wouldn't hang up. Couldn't get rid of it. And this was just yesterday. So AI, what they predict, and they said the new AI will be released within 4 or 5 months now. It'll be the top of the line. And I said it's going to be really iffy about how it works with other companies and everything else. And there's an incredible fear among the top people in the computer world worrying about it. But then if you watch these movies, it should bring a little more awareness what they could be doing and what can be done. You know, if you go on a computer and type in some weird letters, you can pull up some secret governments. You can pull everything's there. It's all the password to get into it. And I know this computer. Hold on, I'm gonna have a bunch of noise. But it can work out passwords in time. Technology has, if you can put it in there, it can figure it out. But I say it this way. Take this space. In that space, everything that goes on in the planet is in that space. Everything. Every single thing. You really need one machine that can scramble and get the frequency out of that space, and you could read the government's files, religious files, you could read everything. So, and don't mind me, because you know I'm not on top of the government's secret stuff that they have, which is always 25 to 50 years ahead of what they release publicly. Let me close the window, sorry. Oh, I hope a little. Sorry about that. But AI is our problem. Trump's just adding to it. All right. But see, they know what's happened. You think a president can get in if they don't know what they can make him do, what they want him to do. And Congress, you know, the word Patriot Act was changed by, guess who? Mr. Bush. The day after 9/11, he said, you're either for us or you're a terrorist. And then, you know, they created FEMA camps. Do you know what a FEMA camp is? Why they're there? It's not a jail, it's a FEMA camp. What's the difference? Well, FEMA camps hold good people. Jail hold bad people. So what kind of good people will they be putting in FEMA camps? That's happening soon enough. There's people being put in them. Because once you're in there, there's no communication out of it. So people just disappear, families just disappear. Guess what? Now, and there's a couple books you should search out. There's one about state parks. How many people disappear in a state park in a year's time? Sometimes the cars are found there and things like that. But people aren't. Families say, well, my kid was just here. We turned around and he was gone. They never find him. Disappearing are incredibly high. And they don't have to report it. You don't have to see a list of number of people that disappeared in their park or anything like that. All right. Now, there's a lot of things going on. Now, people like Linda Moulton Howe came out with cattle mutilation, 40 years ago? To this day, she has no proof of anything about it. I actually saw 2 of them happen in front of my eyes. So, I mean, in my short time of dealing with that aspect, I know more about it than she does. They brought her out to the Skinwalker Ranch because they had a mutilated cow. Or was it a llama or something? I mean, it was an animal. And they go, oh, it could be this. But sometimes, zero proof of anything. Skinwalker Ranch is dealing with multiple things. And they kind of whitewash the truth and feed you the story behind it. More worried about the energy of the ground. Well, obviously there's something under it, people. And they know that. They can't drill into it. Well, it's a ship, but they don't want to admit that. And that whether the government or TV will allow them to tell you the truth. Of course not. Same with Bigfoot. Now, there's proof of Bigfoot many times over. I was next to one. I was a foot away from one. It was the only time I didn't have a camera on me, and things always happen when you don't have a camera. Person that filmed unicorns said, if you have a camera, you won't get to see them. If you wear leather products, you won't get to see them. But he spent his life filming horses. And that's how he came across his first unicorn, and then he did a book on unicorns. Incredible stuff. He has a whole herd of unicorns in the ocean. To fake it even would be almost impossible, especially when the book came out. It came out a long time ago. But people, you can believe what you want. You can believe religions which tell you nothing. Nothing about the real Jesus. Nothing about a real God. God's not human. God's not male or female. It doesn't look like a person. So it's not sitting there on a throne or anything even close to that. And it's not a he, and it's not a she. So you program with that idea. But when Jesus tried to explain God, how do you explain God to a bunch of people that are following multiple gods at that time? It's almost impossible. Well, when he said, my father, everybody has a father, so they could relate to a father idea. But that's not what God is. I'm going to do another show, maybe even tomorrow, about spiritual religion and the connection to what lies are in both of them. Now, I'm running along. TJ is a person I did a show with for 12 years. And we were supposed to get started a show again, which didn't happen. But Tina, I've been working with for the past 3 years, and I don't know how long she's going to hold up. And she's been dealing with so many problems. Radioactivity is not a joke. Watch the movie Silkwood. It was kind of like a movie all about radioactive. Cher was in it, a couple of famous people and everything. It was a good movie, but sad. But radioactive materials, look what happened with the explosion and things like that. A city completely radioactive. It's toxic, it's dangerous. And when you go into space, you're exposed to it greatly. People that say they're on a spaceship, they came back perfectly normal. I mean, the astronauts are traveling in spacesuits and things and everything else. Why don't they just go in with their regular clothes and things if it's not dangerous? Then they have to do a rebone programming to help their bones get back in shape and all these things when they come back. But again, people, you're not told the more important part of a truth of anything. I had the first astronaut on my show a long time ago. He wouldn't admit to anything on the ground. He said, we saw multiple things in space. We saw multiple things in space. I called him up. I had him on a long time ago, but I called him about 2 years ago because I was supposed to do a movie. We know where there was a ship in a lake, and we know where there's a frozen Bigfoot. So we were supposed to do a movie. I'll tell you, Sean David Martin was my good friend. He wanted to get involved. John Ford, my good friend, who I got him to come out in New York, supposedly killed 16 Greys. I know he killed one. All right, I won't agree that he killed 16. I doubt it. But his wife was being abducted. He would chain her to the bed so they wouldn't take her. But I said, look, they can go through walls. They have a couple psychic abilities. But again, he was also killed about a year and a half ago. All the people I know have been taken out. Oh, you don't have to just be shot to die. I don't know if you watch these movies with the little pill. They swallow a pill, or they whatever. There's different things that people do. Poisons. Many people are poisoned. All spiritual people are poisoned usually to try to take them out. Don't ask me why. If you have somebody spiritual, why do you have to feel that you have to take them out? Well, I did 2 years research on all the most spiritual people that ever lived. 80% of them were killed. And most of it was poison. 1%, 2% were dying of a natural disease at 80. Some of them are dying with the effects of what they were poisoned with or how their body was attacked, and died from that later on. So, but our history's really pathetic. And in the United States, realize when we started it, there was 50 million Native people here. And they killed 50 million Native people. I'm bypassing 1 million. Less than 1 million were actually alive in the end of all that. Now, why Trump supports guns is delusional, but he knows he gets his following from that. But do you know why people want guns? Why guns were allowed to go to people? Because they were allowed to shoot Native people and get paid for it. And they had to return a scalp to get their money. People wasn't the Native people. All your history is bull. What? Hold on. I gotta go. Well, I appreciate it. It's an emergency. But I'll continue this maybe tomorrow.